4, 3, 2, 1, we're live.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is B.I.G. We're back, and I'm very, very excited for this episode. We have Jackie with us. Jackie, more life from Metagoons. How are you doing today?
Doing well, man. Thank you guys for the invitation. This is my first time on the show. Very excited. All of you guys known for literally years. And yeah, always, seeing you guys on the metaverse, interacting on Twitter, and then meeting most of you guys. Yeah, I think that most of you guys through these events. I think Mr. Console is the only person I have not met yet. But yeah, happy to be here.
What?
Oh,
Buddy,
you're
we
about
know
to
each
be
other.
Mr. Console.
We know each other. We've met.
Yo, we're all gonna go hang in his beautiful living room, and I'm gonna play the piano soon. So you're invited.
Yo, you guys have like the same like window to the right. What is this?
Oh, we're actually neighbors. We're in the same.
Yeah.
Like almost like there's like a wall indentation like on both cameras. This is like very similar.
That's some architecture right there. Structural column next to the window.
So Alpha, we're going to be bringing B.I.G. in real life with all of us, just chilling in Console's home. So be looking forward to that.
Dude, if we did a B.I.G.
welcome,
like
guys. You're
IRL like fireside chat, that would be fucking sick.
That would be lit. It's going to happen one day. That's
chicken where I
manifesting.
am.
There's no good chicken where you're at.
Loads of chicken where I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I was
Okay.
like, what? Yeah, we need the chicken there.
We're off
on
to a
this-
great start here, guys.
On this episode of B.I.G., we're going to be talking more through Ronin and what's happening in the Ronin ecosystem, specifically Ronin and the base partnership or quest that's currently going on. We're also going to be discussing the sandbox and how they recently raised some money in an eventual down round. Actually, this is like their 5th raise, and so it's kind of interesting. And I believe we had one more topic, if someone can remind me what that is.
Sappy Seals releasing a game.
And Sappy Seals releasing a game. Everyone's now releasing a game. But so I guess to start off, like I think we talked about it. We have some Ronin bags. So disclaimer, like some of us have Ronin bags. I think generally speaking, Jackie, like you have been in the space for a while. Would love to hear your thoughts on what's happening in the Ronin ecosystem. Obviously, what they're doing with Coinbase and how you think that they might kind of start to come back from where they were previously. I think they're actually already back in terms of daily active users. But curious to hear your thoughts, and then we'll just jump it around with the panel.
For sure, man. This is actually news to me. I didn't even know about the Ronin/base partnership. But yeah, I can just start from the get-go, right? Like 2021, just being involved in the Axie and having built like a scholarship guild with 1,300 scholars at one point. I mean, it's definitely an OG in the space, right? Ronin, like, literally started the entire ecosystem. Like, they went on, they're literally the first game that had millions of users all the way back and like started building, I think 2017, like years in the making, popped off 2021, right? And they're literally the only game that has experienced millions of daily active users and is actually a chain that is battle tested, right? It's like, remember 2021 trying to scale the scholarships, right? Like having these on-chain transactions, trying to do the payouts, trying to, send these Axies, thousands of people, right? And it's like, that literally kicked off the entire gaming meta, right? All these guilds raised millions of dollars. Everyone was like scaling, right? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of scholars. So yeah, they literally went his entire only chain I'd say that is battle tested, right? That actually can handle millions of transactions and having millions of people. So yeah, I'm actually very, very bullish on that chain, right? Like AXS SLP was the first one that existed on the chain. And yeah, right now we're seeing also Pixels, right? Going in, and yeah, very excited for what they're doing. It's the only chain that is battle tested for gaming, I would say.
Yeah, I think we've actually heard, on B.I.G. that they're actually not scalable. And so I'm very interested in hearing how they do scale. And I think they'll figure it out. They kind of have to, right? But I know, Hato, you went through the quest. Where are you at with the quest? What even is the quest? Are you going to hold your Ron? What's going on?
So these people had me go from one app to another, and I'm a little upset with Coinbase. It used to be just answer questions and get money. Now it's a little bit more work and involved, right? But I get it. What they were doing before wasn't really onboarding anybody. It was just people like clicking buttons until they got the right answer and they get the money. Now it's like I gotta send Ronins from one wallet to the other. I gotta go stake it, and now I have to go purchase an Axie. And I'm like, well, that's where you lose me, because that's price fluctuation can happen. So I'm gonna wait till that shit goes down, right? And then I'm gonna buy, so I have more Ron token. and then after that they're going to be more, right? So it's been like kind of like more work to do, but it definitely is doable for anyone to get involved with this ecosystem now. So I will give them props on that. They found a way to like make it very user friendly.
Yeah, agreed. Curious to hear anybody else's thoughts.
Yeah, I got to try it out. I agree, and it's super user friendly. I mean, it does take a little bit of work. It's a little bit of ask for you, but I think that's, to me, like what the whole purpose was. You know, you really do get educated on the ecosystem, like how the wallet works. And I thought it's a great way to introduce that. I mean, and Coinbase has a whole bunch of users, so I mean, this is a great way to explore Ronin as a project and stuff. And I could definitely see this benefiting and onboarding.
For sure. I'm recall Ronin giving their stakers as well prizes for staking. I think it was like probably one of the most effective player like staking campaigns that we've seen, specifically with Pixels and then also YGG. Was anyone else a part of that? Anybody else like a big proponent of the Ronin ecosystem outside of me, which I'm kind of like one of my bigger bags.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
I
is the
just hold
go ahead.
Ronin. I'm not involved in anything they essentially ask of their gamers. It's really beautiful what Jackie stated here. Bullish on the fact that they managed to expand beyond Axie and tap into their chain to get more games for the people they already onboarded. I think they, just as you said, JRP hit that all-time high once more. What I'm curious is, do people actually go through that whole Coinbase learning thing? Because I think most of us here really just dived into the ecosystem head first.
I mean,
Right.
if you're brand new to crypto, it definitely is something that you could use to get yourself involved with crypto, right? It's definitely something that's very like if you read everything, it's very super explanatory, like the way that they go into detail of what you have to do for each step and why you're doing it, what you're doing, or what you're getting out of it, right? So it is very informative and educational. But people like us, we didn't like. I don't like tutorials, right? That's why I don't like doing it because I already know how to do all this
Yeah, I
shit.
don't like tutorials.
I hate
Yeah.
tutorials. In fact, I played WoW for the first time last night, and I skipped the whole tutorial island because I don't do tutorials, right? We don't do that shit. And so, to me, yeah, like I'm a more tech savvy person, so going through that, it seems like tedious. Just give me my money. I know how to fucking do this shit. But as a new user, it could be very beneficial because a lot of these people don't know how to do any of this stuff. So I think it's very educational.
Here's what I like about it. Coinbase taking a gaming blockchain and pushing their assets forward to talk about something that Coinbase, like that's Coinbase saying to all their retail users, hey, this is valuable, pay attention to gaming. Here's a great gaming chain with a great game. You know, look at this. I think like Coinbase is basically I consider Coinbase the leader in our space, period. I think that
In the
people,
US.
yes, that's true. But as like a trend setting leader, I think that that's powerful globally, especially because whatever they pay attention to, whatever they put work into, it just there's nobody with more money, more power, and more kind of consideration of the laws and of where they're trying to push the market. Like Coinbase is such a leader, at least from the US side, that like people in Web3, we don't even talk about Coinbase like they're part of Web3. They're like a Web2 retail company selling crypto, but they are like a gigantic Web3 company with huge. I mean, look at all this stuff that they just announced with this integration of these smart wallet. Like Coinbase just announced technology to allow anyone with any money on their centralized exchange, which is everyone who just comes into Coinbase, right? I don't use Coinbase's wallet, but they're the only centralized exchange that I have some funds on because they're my on and off ramp. Like any money you have on Coinbase, you can just interchangeably use in the entire decentralized crypto economy without even paying attention to it. That's like the biggest news for mass adoption I have seen this cycle, that they have cracked this and that they're the ones pushing it. And we should all be paying really, really close attention to everything Coinbase does.
And to add to that, they also have good friends in BlackRock in their institutional side.
Everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
So
like
they have connections
with
bro.
the money.
Yeah, they have connections. They're loaded out the wazoo. Like Coinbase is pretty much your modern day bank. but it's
And they're
like
not they're not
enhanced
doing anything that they don't already know that is going to be allowed.
correct.
Right? They know. Like
All
they
right.
talk to all the people in Congress. Coinbase is all the back channel. I mean, look, I'm talking out of my ass, right? I'm just observing. Don't like
Yeah.
quote me. But no,
Not financial advice.
if Coinbase releases something, Coinbase has talked to the big money and they've talked, back channels in the government. They're like, cool, like we can get away with this. We're gonna push.
Yo, guys, real quick, I do want to shout out some commenters here. We have Durzo saying, "What's up, guys?"
Oh,
We have
Durzo.
Meat
What's up,
Prox.
Durzo?
I miss you guys. What's going on, Meat Prox? Good to see you, bro.
Oh.
What's up, Nate
so-
Rocks?
Also, I feel like everyone skips the tutorials. Amen, brother. We don't need no freaking
For
tutorials.
sure.
There are no tutorials in this dojo, okay? And then we have Clouds. What's up, Clouds? Wish you could be here, bro, sometime.
Yes, Clouds.
Yeah.
We miss you. We need you.
What is that?
Hey.
Business? Like Cuban?
Business, some business. So I want to add on to what Jordan said because I think it's really important. Before the show, I shared a screenshot of Coinbase's plan to take over, be like the next internet, and I think that that's really important and goes to show like their goals.
Ooh, do we
moving
have that
forward, right?
screenshot?
Yeah, if someone wants to pull it up, would love
Yeah,
to
please.
be able to pull it up.
I'd love to
So
see
like,
that.
yeah. So essentially, it's in 4 steps. I already forgot like most of them, but the second one is infrastructure and kind of tooling. The third one is like consumer applications, and then the fourth one is decentralized applications, just like an app store. And it's cool because they give a Web 2 comparison and a Web 3 comparison, and you can tell that they're moving towards this direction because Coinbase itself now has a division in Coinbase to produce dApps, to produce consumer goods. So if you can see, the first phase is protocol, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. 1 million people reached. Sounds good. Infrastructure, which I think is kind of like where we're at right now. We're able to now reach 10 million people. And I mean, Ronin has what, 1.5? So I guess you can say we're there already. Consumer interface, it's like the browser, a user-controlled wallet, which is exactly what Jordan just said. You have
They
money
just
somewhere.
released it.
Yeah.
Exactly. They just released it. And there's a lot of people I'm working with at Third Web that are like, hey, I need this because the way that they're thinking is I need liquidity in my game. I need to have this because that's where the liquidity is, right, Jordan?
Liquidity
Game changer.
fragmentation is the number one problem in our industry. Like easily, right? You know what there isn't liquidity fragmentation in? Dollars. Any business in the country, in the world, for the most part, most places, you've got USD in your pocket, you can spend it at it, right? Like there are 12 people in this industry and we all have 7 different blockchains worth of currencies, right? So like Coinbase being like, guys, this is the problem to solve and we're solving it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I was just going to say, I love that diagram of it showing like
it's so good.
protocols, TCP or TC/I. I always get that wrong. But the different protocols that you use nowadays in the internet protocols, right? That's how I see these blockchains. They're nothing but protocols, and some of them have utility tokens, whatever like the mechanism may be. That's where I see it is like we're in that early stage. People are, whenever they're talking about apps to each other, we understand it because we're developers or founders, right? Like we're pioneers. But like the average user isn't going to understand all this shit. So the kind of friction that you're talking about, Jordan, is very important to solve. And that solving of that problem is going to lead to a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like
You know
we're like
what
in
I-
1992 with the internet. Coinbase is like Netscape, right? And they're trying to make it and not be Netscape, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
You know what I hear? What I'm hearing is Coinbase have some inside info. And
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, when a company is this big, they're not just releasing learning tokens and networks in their ecosystem for no particular reason. They were either paid really big by Ronin or maybe they're in on something. I think that's what
I
I'm
mean,
hearing.
I
here.
assume they got paid by Ronin for this, right?
if you
Like
look
what?
And you guys, if you look at the adoption curve of like the internet with in comparison to crypto, like we're at the same point where it's like all these things are being like turned up, and like now the adoption curve is starting to go up, and like we're about to adopt all these things, and the apps are getting like more fine-tuned and stuff like that. And so it's really hard to compare like all these like Solana to me looks like a modern day Apple, right? But you can't really call it Apple because Apple tried to do some finance shit, and it's not the same level as like what is possible with Solana. Like they did like their
Apple's
own card
shit
and
also
stuff.
works all the time. Usually, is what they're known for.
Yeah, but then they take the model move
But
fast,
sure, it's
break stuff.
centralized and work well. Yeah, definitely.
Right. Like, and then, but it's like Solana's actually Facebook because they're moving fast and breaking shit, right? Like, everyone's taking like models from different Web 2 companies, and everyone's doing their own finance thing. So I don't know, I'm excited.
And the last piece of the comparison, and I think what makes like so many of the things that people talk about, like, oh, here's the problem with Web3, here's what's wrong with blockchain. It's like you couldn't buy HTTP and be like, fuck, bullish on HTTP, I'm gonna hold that. If you could have, holy shit, you'd be up huge, right? But you could buy the protocol from the first day it existed. You could buy it and it was real money. And so the like HTTP, like all these internet protocols, they didn't become really valuable until the product side led, the utility side led, right? This entire industry was built cart before the horse because the first version of the very first protocol you could buy, it was money. And so all the money showed up 10 plus years before it would have in any other normal like tech industry that's being formed for the next phase.
Yeah,
now we have
man. I feel like it goes beyond bigger than just comparing it to individual companies. We're looking at like the fundamental infrastructure base layer as chains, because to me, like different chains represent different things, right? Like Solana, super high throughput, very fast transaction, and it's like right now the use case is meme coins. So I comparing it kind of to like Russell 2000s, like what's like the infrastructure powering all that, like, you know, pink slip micro cap stocks, right? And then maybe, you know, Avalanche can be comparable to like maybe like powering corporates, right? With their, you know, more like, you know, subnets, right? Like, you know, if the corporation needs some sort of privacy, right? Not all transaction needs to be public. There's like certain trade secrets, right? If it's like Goldman Sachs making a transaction to buy a company, definitely don't want that information to be public, right? Maybe Ethereum is like another example. Maybe it's like the NASDAQ or something like that, right? Like powering these technological innovations. But yeah, I also want to make a point to a GRP's chart that was kind of like my mental model with how Coinbase is, right? It's the biggest exchange and the biggest top of the funnel demand for retail, right? Like regulated, you know, anyone coming into the, or I guess any normie coming into the crypto ecosystem this run in the US at least most likely does it through Coinbase, right? And then there's a chain that's called Base that their natural instinct, if they want to engage with on-chain transaction after investing in Ethereum, would be looking at ecosystems or projects, applications, dApps that's on Base. So yeah, I'm actually super interested to seeing what that looks like, right? Right now, I think it's like meme coin is super big, but yeah, with this recent Ronin shift, they definitely also have their eyes in gaming, which is super bullish to me. So yeah, I think these two sectors definitely have my eyes on meme coins and gaming.
Yeah, and I love that comparison that you made because it's like it's a B2B decision which server infrastructure you want to put your website on, right? Like, oh, you know, we want to use Amazon Web Services or we're going to use Microsoft, we're going to use whatever, right? But on the consumer side, like no one on the internet history ever was like, oh, I'd go to that website, but I only go to HTTP4 websites, right? Like that's never happened.
Yeah.
And so that's what like Coinbase is doing right now, which we all know that needs to be solved, is it needs to become irrelevant what blockchain something is on for you as the consumer side to use it, right? It'll stay super relevant for like the project side. Let's pick the right tech, let's pick a good network, let's pick like whatever we're going for. But until it's irrelevant on the consumer side, people will just need tutorials. And like we're saying, everyone skips tutorials.
Yeah,
I think that's
So
the hope for smart accounts, right? Like is for them to be able to, for us to be able to control, have a sense of control via like private keys in someone's wallet to make it seamless for them. Like it's not fully Web3, but it's enough to make it so that people can interact with it without really caring where everything is. Toss over to you before passing it over to the sandbox.
Did
you have something,
Odo
Fonso?
or me? Oh,
Fonso.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think what I'm also hearing, and I'm definitely the guy here who's completely representing the people. I'm not really that into the tech, but what I'm hearing is that maybe there's some fire igniting that is showing interest towards gaming, right? You would think, just as my friend here who says he doesn't know me, but I bet you we know each other, right? Just as he says on the fact that Ronin is one of the pioneers of this space, teaming up with Coinbase. I think maybe we're starting to see a little shift in interest, and that could maybe flow the capital back, or at least the interest, which a lot of guys are stating is dead. I think that's what I'm also hearing on a very native level.
There's a lot more interest in the space, and with that, our next conversation, the Sandbox raising $20 million on a $1 billion valuation, it being their fifth round. And I think that they're for sure at a down round. I don't know what the valuation was in the previous round, but they're up to their Series A. Usually companies that raise their Series A have revenue coming in, have users. I think the meme during the bear market was like, hey, Sandbox has like 10 people like on it, right? I think that was one of the things that came out before. So what's going on here? Like, is this bearish, bullish? What do you all think?
3 strikes and you're out. I don't know. It's the 5th time.
Look, 5 rounds is a lot of rounds, right?
Yeah.
Then again, look, we were talking about this earlier. Disclosure for everyone. We were talking about this earlier, kind of dunking on the token, and I saw that chart and I bought $200 worth of it because chart looks good to me. Just not financial advice, but like just based on the things that I look for in a token chart. We've had a multi-year long down bad consolidations, taken out all prior lows from pre-pump other than like a first important one from 3 years ago. And it's been horizontal, holding lows for a long, long time. And now it's been going up. And the prior all-time high is a 20x from the current level. That's the kind of chart I like buying, irrelevant of what the hell is going on with the project. I went onto their website and I'm like, hey, no, it's just because charts are charts. You know what I mean? Like
regardless of what the project is doing is kind of crazy though.
No, because it's not like there's a point where it's just numbers in a chart and it's a token ticker and people are buying it and trading it and you can see the evidence of that based on how the token moves. It's essentially, I'd buy this as a meme coin with zero utility, right? Like I'm just buying the token chart based on what the price action is doing.
Are they posting
I'm not advocating for someone to do it. No, I wish it was a meme coin. I'd feel more confident in this purchase I just made because then it would be nothing but the token, the
You're
chart.
Just buying it off of like TA. I got you. I just saying.
That's all. I just saw the chart. I was like, shit, this is what I look for.
That's why you can't just TA this shit. You gotta look at what they're doing.
Like, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if I'm up in 6 months, right? Well, I'll come back to this.
You'll be up
if I was
in 6 months because something the project did.
I don't know. They're on their 5th round of investment right now. They have a whole huge metaverse with no players. How many people are in it?
Now we know.
Anyone in the comments, have you ever played Sandbox? How many people play this game?
Bro, I played that shit. It's like a better version of Pixels. Like, there's nothing to talk about.
I don't know about better version of Pixels. Pixels has like a fantastic economy core loop that works super well for them.
I'm talking game. I'm not talking money-making machine. I'm talking video game.
Not printer.
It looks like Minecraft. Every game that looks like Minecraft to me is one game. Like, if I'm being honest.
But we already. This is the thing.
No,
this is the problem I have with the copycat games. Something like this. Something
Cloud
like
says
that.
it's
How about
ass.
you just make a Sandbox? Why does it have to be like Minecraft? We already have Minecraft.
I don't
There's
disagree
a
with
lot of
you.
people play
Why
it.
does every mobile game look exactly the fucking same and make me want to play none of them? I couldn't
don't play
tell you.
mobile. I don't play mobile, so I can't answer that.
Wait. There's a reason why you can make a Minecraft-like game in Web3, and that's because you can financialize Minecraft in this ecosystem, but you can't really do that on Minecraft.
But it shouldn't
or
be
in the
Minecraft.
Web2
It should be
ecosystem,
whatever the
right?
game is.
One fun fact
I assume
about
it has nothing to do with Minecraft.
is
It
that
just looks like it.
no, let me give you the facts. I believe in April, and this is according to Newzoo, Minecraft was 3rd for PC, PS, Xbox in terms of monthly active users.
Oh
And
yeah.
I believe that these guys are actually, in as much as the valuation dropped, I believe at some point it was 4 billion. They're raising capital, which some founders are finding extremely difficult. And everybody is placing their bet on its open world. I think the whole business of gaming is shifting towards that. It's shifting towards gaming as a service, gaming as different little modes within it. And I think that's very bullish. I think it's very bullish in the long term.
You want to talk
I'm
about
like bearish
shifts?
on everything you just said, just separately.
You want to talk about shifts? They added a actual work simulator where you can go in Roblox and work in the game, and you get paid. I'm not even joking. They
I heard that,
Roblox
but
is
I don't-
phenomenal. Oh my god, what an economy!
and there's an earning mechanism in Roblox, right? So I don't know if they're gonna do some Roblox tokens someday, but they already have that shit there. Yes, the
Roblox?
IKEA thing. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They put IKEA into Roblox,
Ryan,
and then you
what's
can
up, Ryan?
actually hop in and be a worker in the game and earn a living. Like it's crazy.
No, Roblox
Roblox is
is
the
definitely
way.
gonna pivot towards Web3 at some point.
I
But
don't think Roblox
one
needs
thing
to
we
do
talk
shit.
about in this ecosystem a lot is interoperability. And this is just something that is so much easier with open worlds, metaverses, and what Sandbox is, right? That's why they're able to raise when a lot of people are struggling to raise.
Look,
Did they raise the 20 million, or are they trying to raise the 20 million?
No, they raised it.
this
They
Nice.
is
raised
Okay.
it in promissory notes, I believe.
Hold on,
Okay.
guys. Real quick about Sandbox. This is the problem with Sandbox. The core game loop itself was relying on other people to build the world. And I'm going to steal Cloud's point here. Clouds always talks about you got to build the metaverse to then have other people be inspired to build in your metaverse. And Sandbox, what you do in the base level is not inspiring. It's very tech demo feeling, right? You're not getting immersed into that. You're getting immersed into like, oh, this is the base layer of what you can do with this game. When Sandbox has the tools to make a really intuitive story or quest or whatever you want to call it, where you could roam around and do some stuff for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, maybe you burn through it, but at least you have something that's actually stimulating your brain. And in that game, you just walk around, collect coins, and you just look at shit. That's it.
Right, like Roblox had a ton of
Not
core
really.
game loops originally, right? And
Yeah.
then it was only after their game that they built was hugely successful that they started letting other people contribute.
Exactly. Real
I
quick,
mean,
Clouds mentioned Sandbox is supposed to be a creator and company playground, yet users have stopped creating experiences that are fun, functional, or that can sustain hype to popularize it at a
This
mass
model
level.
has never worked. It didn't work for Second Life either. It doesn't work.
Huh?
If you're a private company wanting to build like you can build your own, like you're giving up so much to do it in Sandbox, right? And you're only doing that because they have like player liquidity, right? But like if they don't, the whole thing does like not a single tech product that has ever been built. Somebody find an exception to this. Not a single tech product that has ever been built that works great if 1 million people use it, but needs that network effect to succeed has ever gotten there. You can't start with that. It doesn't work.
And Sandbox is an adult game too. So
Yeah.
like this comment that Cloud said about Roblox, you just figure a way for children to steal their credit cards. Well, the thing is, like I don't know exactly where.
I'm super for Sand, and the reason why is the ecosystem is very locked in. They have their own tool to build in their world. They have their own marketplace, so on and so forth. And when you really think about it, I believe you're always gonna find builders where you're able to find quote unquote players or at least interest. And the marketing campaign, at least from what I see on the outside looking in, does that, right?
Mr. Costa, let me ask you a question. When you want to build a building, you have people there to build it, right?
Yeah.
And that's their occupation. Where are the occupational workers building Sandbox? Where are they at? I'm not challenging. I'm just asking you a genuine question. Where are they at? Like, are they there? Like, I don't know.
I know one guy who's always actively building, but other than him,
can he build a whole
really know
metaverse
many.
by himself?
Yeah.
But
I
they
think,
have
like,
land that has been sold. They have the tools.
Well, yeah,
and
people
it's just
own
really
land in
marketing
life.
because
I'm just giving you the
God,
analogy of like the builders have to build the thing, right? Like the skyscrapers that we see in cities, the builders build that, but it wasn't the people that actually put down the foundation to build that wanted that done. It's the rich people in power that want that shit done, right? So I'm saying like, is there desire from the builders of Sandbox to build up Sandbox? That's what I'm asking because I haven't seen that yet. And if you've seen something, I'd love to see that.
I mean,
so what you're asking
my
is
question.
if jump in.
I would say it's like a chicken and egg problem, right? It's always about like what comes first, and then once the builders come, and then the users come, or is there the users that come in because there's monetization abilities, then the builders come, right? And I think this is probably the reason why they're raising that funds, because actually spoke to Sebastian like a couple weeks ago. They're looking for exactly creators that can build experiences. I've known that team since like 2021, and Sebastian, authors, one of the hardest working people I've ever met, right? Like the dude, like I met him at GDC 2022. Like we spoken a couple of times before that, right? Like he was just literally talking while like walking while talking to us, and then he had memorized all of the previous conversations we had. He had like a phone that he took notes on everything. It was like, okay, this is what we talked about before. These are the points we can discuss. These are the next steps of things that we could do, right? Just like super sharp, super on top of everything. And I also know people from SoftBank who had invested. They like kind of wrote it off as a write-off, because just like if you have a game that raised so much fucking money, the owners, I mean, they basically monetized or made like 9 figures for themselves. So it's like they could have just fucked off, right? But kudos to them that they're actually still building and like seeing this through. Like they're very, very sharp on their communications, always like replying in less than 12 hours, right? And I think it's the chicken and egg problem going a bit off of that as well, because I also work with like UEFN, right? There's companies like Chase Bank, like big companies that spend literally $200,000-$300,000 budget to build these experiences. And I think they are seeing it as definitely from a higher level abstraction, right? Like the Animoca brands of this sort, who's, Yatsu, I know, is a big proponent of Sandbox. They're probably seeing that opportunity there, right? That like if you can build a UEFN Roblox like ecosystem where like a user can just come in, have the right tools, right? They're also, of course, it's a game that is still in development, right? 2021, I think 2022, they were still in development for like sword fighting or like gunplay, right? Because I mean, right now, if you just go in, super boring. You can just go in, you can build things, you can jump up, you can jump down, right? Not really any gaming experiences that can be abstracted from that, right? But as they raise the funds, as they build, as they attract more creators to come in, right? Brands that come in, which they have the ability to do, right? Playboy, Paris Hilton, Aoki, Snoop Dogg, right? All of them can come in. So yeah, I think it's a couple of dynamics at play, but yeah, I mean, definitely would write them off.
Hold on, check this out. Check this out. Hold on, real quick. Let me. He's cooking. Let me cook real quick. So the way that you do that in the gamer world is you announce partnerships and hype people up, okay? Because here's what they're doing in the Web 2 that works, which would work beautifully for Web 3 gaming, but no one ever does this. No one takes advantage of this. It's crazy. You announce partnerships and say that this is a first party, not associate, but like collaboration with Sandbox. So for instance, let's say you're going to build a world-renowned game builder, right? Now we have partied first party with this person, instead of independently, because now it feels like it's Sandbox making it. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So like that's what's missing. It's like there's no first party growth of game development. It's all third party. And I get that like we wanted this decentralized world.
But what's wrong with that, Hodo?
Because if that third party person fails, no, because the first party effort has to be like you mentioned UEFN. Fortnite made a game. But
that's what I was going to say too.
Fortnite made a game, right? And then everybody brought their experiences to Fortnite to make their games within Fortnite. So there has to be a core product.
And the other side, what does UEFN stand for? Unreal Engine Fortnite, right? What's Unreal Engine? The number 2 game engine in the world. That a huge number of the coolest games in the world all natively build with already. What's Fortnite? Okay. It's one of the biggest games in the world. They combined forces and turned it into a platform where they have every other game developer builds in Unreal Engine or Unity, right? And like everyone like knows how to do it, right? So they have all the people with all their services and all their software and all their professional expertise. They already like building in this engine. Hey, just build in that engine that you love. And 2, here's our 100 million or whatever number it is, like users who are love and play our game, who are now who we've been, by the way, like Fortnite didn't just come out, all of a sudden now we have 8 games, right? Fortnite started, okay, here's skins from partner projects for limited time. Here's a concert, right? inside of Fortnite. Here's little bits of other experiences. Little piece, stir, like stir. Okay, here's now
I was saying you're cooking.
like
You're cooking. Go.
oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you. Sorry.
Stir.
I'm out. You know what I'm saying? They took incredibly careful, methodical steps to bring their users along on this gradual ride, one piece at a time, to the point where now they open it up as this whole platform. They're the first real competition to Roblox. Also, all they did was copy Roblox. And look, they didn't copy Roblox by building the world first. They copied Roblox by copying the methodology of the process. And that's where I think tons of these metaverses have got it wrong. And they're like, look, we'll build the thing and then like we'll get the people later. And they're not realizing like the thing isn't that unique. Like the process is what's unique. The execution is the key element. And it doesn't like, it's just not that special to have a video game world where everyone can build a bunch of stuff in it. Like that's not that difficult to build. There's so many of them. There's nothing special about it. The special thing is we have 100 million people playing Fortnite. We have the number 2 game engine and the much more advanced one that's cool. That's special. What's special is we've spent years bringing our huge user base along and acclimating them to the idea that there's going to be other game types here. First, just through like literally, here's a variation of Fortnite where you can't build, right? Like first one, and that is how you end up now with this gigantic platform that everyone's using, and that's the important part. It's not the other
one more topic to go over, and so we're having great conversations. I think that like my power just came back on. Let's go. And so
Hey!
I was wondering where that vibration was coming from. I'm like,
and so I just want to end off by saying Sandbox has now raised about $100 million. All right. And so you just keep that in mind. It's like what is going on. They have the best connections in the world and they can figure something out. But to literally both of y'all's point, like other people have taken different perspectives and ways to approaching the go-to-market. This is obviously a different one. And we'll see what happens, obviously, in like 10 years. Will Sandbox be around? Like, is it Quicksand or not? Who knows? We'll obviously find out. Shout out to Console for that. Moving us on forward, and so we can end off at the hour. Sappy Seals announced that they're launching a game. Sir, would love to share if you can share a little bit more about like the game that you saw. I think you sent it in the chat, and what your initial thoughts are.
Sir?
Oh, sorry.
Sir?
I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking up the information on the game real quick, but I think what really caught my attention was just the controversy behind it all, you know, and like this weird segregation between like traditional crypto and like DeFi NFTs, and then what has been quoted as like this small bubble that is like Web3 gaming. But yeah, the game's name is Omnia, and it looks like it's supposed to be basically like a Pokemon-esque type game that Sappy Seals is going to be building. They announced recently. I mean, I think regardless if it's like a copy, I think it's bullish. I think it's a great team that obviously like understands the culture, you know, and wants to get into gaming. I don't see why they couldn't deliver.
Is this going to be mostly a mobile game, or like is it going to be everything?
That I do not know the details on, and I don't know if that's even really been announced.
Okay.
But like theoretically, I feel like a team like this could deliver a game. You know, like I think that's something like we talk about a lot in this space is like understanding the culture and like understanding the degens and like bringing them something that they would want to be a part of, invest in.
Yeah.
So why not it be an NFT? NFT like
Kyle's is not bullish on this game. He said, "Oh boy,
I'm also
another
not
Pokemon
bullish.
type of game." You're not bullish?
I'm not too bullish.
You don't like Pokemon either?
I mean, I watched that animation and it was firstly anime, and I'm wondering why everybody's really running for that anime theme. And I was like, bruh.
Are you not a fan of anime either?
This looks like Pokemon from, like, how did you not try to differentiate yourself? You know what I mean? So I'm not too bullish on that front.
Well,
You
it's
don't
just
like
like we
anime?
talked about. I mean, like if you can incorporate ownership and like so you can be a trainer and catcher and actually own all these assets. I mean, that is something different that the original Pokemon game doesn't provide.
I mean,
So like,
this collection also released some sort of clothes. I wasn't bullish on their clothes either. I don't know if you guys looked at their merch. Those seals looked deadly. They were not fun. They looked gothic seals, right? And then they come up with this, and in my opinion, I don't really know if. Yes, we're all trying to expand our NFT collections, but why is everyone running towards gaming and March? Like, is there nothing else? And if you truly want to do gaming, why not pursue a very unique game type and gameplay? I think this is gonna be a trading card game, which to me is just like
There's so many of those in this space too. Like, there's too many. It's such a saturated genre,
yeah,
unfortunately.
it's too much.
But here's
So
the
it's
thing I will
not like
say.
most of them have a ton of players, right? Like there's no winner yet. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
still an
saying.
open field.
That's what I'm saying.
Parallel.
I mean, right, but there's one that people play, right? It's like
Right.
very open season.
Yeah, but the card game genre in general, like Jordan is saying, is very up for grabs. Like there is no clear cut like Yu-Gi-Oh! Winner take all type shit. We're still looking for that. Parallel.
I love that you
has a
say
very-
Yu-Gi-Oh! When that was the copycat on Pokemon. Was it not? Was it not? Am I wrong? I was in
Pokemon
second grade.
Wait. I want you to say that.
I
again.
remember Pokemon, and then I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Is my timeline wrong?
But
I don't even know what
you don't
Yu-Gi-Oh!
capture-
Is. Aging yourself.
you don't capture the cards in Poke. Well, you're just saying the card itself. Like they made a card game.
Well, I mean,
that-
look, we're collect. Right. Well, first of all, Pokemon was the collectible card game and the anime show, right?
right.
And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like, oh, the thing we're gonna do different is that like in the show they use the cards, but it's still the same thing otherwise, right?
No.
Okay, I'm half right and half very wrong. Okay, this is the reality. Me in third grade, I like had finally given in and started collecting all these Pokemon cards, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out. It's like $11 or $14 for
Okay, now you
pack in
pissed off
Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like,
Clouds.
I'm not fucking doing this. So I never touched the shit.
Clouds is
That's
a
that was me.
big Yu-Gi-Oh guy, bro.
I know people are super into Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not trying to. This is actually what I was trying to say. There's enough space for duplicates in this space, right? Like Parallel is doing great. It's not Hearthstone.
So
It's
there's
not
a-
Slay the Spire. Like there's so
Yeah.
many trading card games. It's a
There-
gigantic genre.
there is a thing about card games too. So there's two sides of the card game.
Digimon had a good theme song though, Clowns.
There's two sides of the cards. There's the collectible side, and then there's actual like me playing and whooping your ass in a game type shit, right?
Right.
And on the collectible side, Pokemon, I think this is my opinion because I've watched more Pokemon opening card content. I think that's more of the collector's side, and then the people that are the sweaty gamer side, that's going to be your Yu-Gi-Oh crowd because the actual game was played more than the Pokemon game.
Look, except sure then, but like what is Pokemon? Pokemon is one of the most successful video game franchises in history. Right? It might actually be the number one selling, or it's up there. Like Pokemon continues decades later to release number one selling game almost every time it releases a game.
As a series, yes, you're right.
Right. So like they are, it is a lot more than just the kind of collectability in the trading card, right? They've sustained it by continuing to put games out that people buy like crazy.
Yeah, it's a cult-like following for sure.
When I asked Sir, you mentioned, and also Jackie, curious to hear your thoughts. Like you're pretty bullish because it's a Web3 native team. I actually think that there is a realm where that's absolutely true. Like both of you, what do you think? And then Sir, like, was there anything particular that you think that they can improve? And what's currently happening?
Okay, so I have this little metaphor in my head that I've been working on, and Jordan might appreciate this because, think about like early 1800s, and like let's think about like California, which is this empty realm. Like what brought people out there were extractors, like miners, people that were just like searching for gold. And I think this is very akin to like the culture, like the degen culture, and everyone talks shit about it, but it's just like that is kind of the catalyst that and then like that brought and then like created a state. And now what you have is like maybe people like us in gaming who are talking to people who are mining, like, oh, like, well, we should build these buildings and casinos and talking about infrastructure like cities. And these guys like, yo, like, I'm just trying to mine gold. You know,
I'm
and,
here,
like,
I'm getting gold, right?
you know, it's just like, but they do work together because eventually these guys are set on a whole bunch of gold, and like they need something to do with it, you know, something, you know, and then that's when these cities start getting built, you know, like turns from like a mining camp to, you know, like now we got like saloons, we got gambling, and we got hotels, we got brothels, you know, like it all works together. That shit.
Oh
was so-
yeah.
So, anyways,
I said, hold
that,
on.
yeah,
I also-
love it.
Wait a minute.
I feel like Web3 gaming people are a little threatened. Like a lot of this initial reaction was a little bit threatened because like what Sappy Seals does have is like a fervent core community that'll buy its shit, which is the necessary component for anything in Web3 to work. That a lot of Web3 games building game first don't have at all. So like,
And
You
they
know.
also have IP. Essentially, this is
Yeah.
an IP play, an IP extension. Building a game is not easy. Building a game is not
It's
easy.
super easy.
And
What do you mean?
I mean, it's super easy, but it's also not easy. At least having users consistently partake in your ecosystem. I think one thing that stood out for me was the timing of this announcement, because I believe during the course of this week as well, we had B.I.G also make some sort of announcement about games coming in, right? So are these guys trying to go toe to toe? Are we gonna have a seals and penguin type of?
Bro, we need a Web3 meme token fighting game. All the meme tokens battle it out. It'll be this great pump event. Everyone will fight each other. It'll be memes galore, fighting game content. We could have announcers. We could do a karate combat style, but you know, in the metaverse or whatever. That would be fun, man. What? Get together, people. All these Moo, Pepe, all these different things. Bring them all together in one fighting game and duke it out. And that would be easy content to farm too. Like easy content
Very
for
easy.
everyone.
They should all do that in Sandbox.
There you go. There you
The
go.
infrastructure there, right?
We've come full circle, bro. Great call out to Sandbox. Bravo.
Jackie, curious to hear your thoughts on their new IP, this new game that's launching.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm bullish because this was my initial thesis coming into gaming. Is like, coming in 2021, evaluating NFT was hot, right? Like, and to me, NFT is digital property and digital identity. And to me, it was very obvious. NFT eventually becomes 3D, immersive, interactive, which is gaming, right? One of the biggest criticism for NFT is utility. What's the utility? Gaming is a utility in my mind, right? And so I think it's if the team actually has the level of funding that Sappy has, if they tap into gaming, bullish to me, man. Like no matter what people say, if they flop, so what? What was it? Cryptomon or 2021 absolutely flop, right? And then now they're coming back with a vengeance. I think such is the nature with gaming, right? It's like such a high risk, high reward type of thing. Like a game like Powerworks can just pop out of nowhere and just get like millions of users, right? And I think as long as they have the funding, they have a sharp team that is willing to innovate, that is willing to admit mistakes and change, and they don't give up. It's a matter of time, right? That they will actually get it. They have the IP, they have the user base, they are Web3 native, they can get the connections to game builders easily. So yeah, I think bullish long term.
But when we talk about the user base, sorry, JRP, actually jump in, JRP.
No. I was just saying it makes sense. Like I agree. I mean, we've seen it happen with multiple people. They just come back and no one's expecting it. And who knows? Like they can be the leader, right? But they also very much so cannot be. Console, you can continue.
I mean, Jackie, when we talk about the user base, and I don't know much about the seals, but don't they have like a 10K collection? Right?
Yeah.
So that essentially limits them to like maximum, unless there's fractionalization that I've not heard about like 10K people, right? And those 10K people are also in the ecosystem, and we're all essentially just trying to expand past that, right?
Yeah, I think
this is something that statement.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is something I've been thinking about as well, right? I think we've seen it play out in the Yuga ecosystem, like with the Bored Apes, with them trying to do other side. They also pushed out NTLV, like whatever the acronym for that game is. I think it's kind of like there's gonna be like kind of Genesis characters, the 10K, but then there could also be a free to play component where anyone can just come in, right? It's kind of like going back to the example of Fortnite. People want to go into these games, they want their own digital identity, they want to feel special, right? The original 10K collection represents that, but there can also be, wearables that people can get and etc. It can be a free to play version where people can come in. So yeah, I think the answer to that is unknown, but yeah, I think that could be one of these solutions.
Yeah, so as we end off the space, would love to hear anybody's final thought. We ran through a lot, right? We went Ronin, we went super deep into Coinbase, which was really great. I think people like that is a conversation we're going to continue to have. We ran through Sandbox. We got a little bit of like conflicting thoughts on Sandbox and like what's going to be happening, but I think obviously we'll see kind of things play out. And then same thing here for the Sappy Seals. I think we're getting some good thoughts on like why they might succeed, why they might not, and like what's going to happen next, right? There's still a lot to be figured out. In my opinion, I had a lot of games come to me telling me like, hey, we need like a XYZ person, and I'm like, tell me more about your tech stack, and they're all over the place, and I'm realizing like they don't even know how to build, like they don't even know what they need. And why is Auto and Console just like dying in the background?
Some backstage talk, before the show, it's an inside joke. Had to be there.
Got you. Okay. Oh, I see. And so, yeah, we're going to continue having these conversations. Again, join us next week for B.I.G. Every Thursday at 3 EST. But before we end off, Jackie, what's coming up in the MetaGoons ecosystem? What are you working on? And then I'll leave it off to anybody else who wants to either laugh their ass off or just kind of start talking about some things that have up and coming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now, just literally all client work, right? Like there's all these games coming to market this summer, so all of them need marketing. So yeah, I think that's something we've been preparing, right? Working in the last since 2021, right? We've done like Web3 native games, like Web 2.5 games. We can do Web3 users, Web 2 users, Web 2 launcher games, Web3 launcher games, mobile games, PC games, like all sorts of games. So yeah, just really exploring, getting in some client work, and then yeah, just like really taking these games to the next level and really working with these like very professional teams, right? Learning their processes, like even learning like how the game works, no matter how easy it is. JRP, definitely trying to learn how these things work at a very elite level.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to give some final thoughts before we end off?
I mean, I can go, I guess.
Please. You're the head honcho here, buddy.
I am nothing. Okay. I am nothing, sir. Yeah, so great show. I love the topics we talked about today. I just want to see more effort from games when it comes to a first party standpoint. When you're trying to help us build a metaverse, so that way we know what we should pick up for where you left off, kind of like Fortnite did. And had a blast playing WoW last night, and I think I'm a WoW guy now. Mizzy converted me. That's all I gotta say.
Let's go.
Speaking of Mizzy, shout out to Mizzy. He hasn't been able to make it. Not sure where he's at. Probably a hangover or whatever. We all know Mizzy. We miss him. We love him. Shout out to him.
Who?
that guy.
The other loudest guy in the room.
Yeah, but essentially all the titles we've spoken about are bullish. Either way you look at it, Sandbox raising, Sappy Seals releasing a game, Coinbase touching base with Ronin. I think these are all positive news, and let's see how this space turns out. One thing that's interesting about this ecosystem, and I've said this so many times, I sound like a broken record, is the fact that we're not laying off, we're not slowing down, we're not shutting down studios, but we're seeking different experiences to bring to users. And I think that by itself, no matter which side of the fence you took in this conversation, is bullish for the ecosystem at large.
I'm excited, man.
Bullish.
What's bullish for the ecosystem is our 176 live stream viewers right now. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, tune in next week, and we'll be right back.
Next week, every one of you, come back. It'll be even better.
Absolutely.
Even better.
Hopefully we'll have a logo by then.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. We'll probably have Mizzy at least.
Yeah,
Mizzy's a logo.
Yo, thanks for coming, Jackie. Awesome having you on.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Just drop the invite. I'll be here.
Sounds
Let's
good,
go.
man.
Love it.
All right, later.
Hey,
everybody.
Jackie,
Have a
and
great
please
rest of your
remember
day.
me, man. How can you
Later.
forget me?
I remember.
All right, we're ending the space. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Later, y'all.